Hey guys, it's back with me again on Latest Movie Stories. How are you, loyal Latest Movie Stories viewers? I hope you're all doing well. Because this time, there's a cool horror film based on a crazy conspiracy theory. A strange signal that turns people into monsters. Apparently, this signal is sent via cell phones. So scary, guys. Okay, let's get straight to it. If you like this channel, don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss any more videos from Latest Movie Stories. The film opens with the hustle and bustle of an airport where, as usual, many people are arriving and departing according to their individual purposes. We also see that almost everyone is staring at their phones, just like people do in today's era. And we'll meet the main character of the film, Clay Riddell, who has just arrived in Boston to try to repair his relationship with his ex-wife, Sharon, and their son, Joni, which is strained due to family problems. Clay used to be an artist who enjoyed making comics.
Can I talk to him?
Made an offer. A big offer. For all the right.
She naturally wanted to call her son immediately to let him know she'd arrived, but her phone suddenly died, and she started looking for a place to charge it. However, she couldn't find one because all the charging stations were occupied. Clay then tries to contact his family using a payphone. Shortly afterward, he witnesses several people at the airport suddenly convulsing and screaming. And then more people experience the same thing, turning the airport into a terrifying scene where people go insane and start killing each other. Clay is convinced that he realizes people are going insane while using their phones to make calls. Clay tries to escape the area because almost everyone has turned into some kind of zombie. He walked to the subway station, where he found some survivors who seemed unaffected. The survivors took refuge inside the train, hoping to stay safe. While searching for an escape plan, Clay anxiously asked, "Who's the train driver?" The driver was a fairly elderly man named Tom, who looked equally terrified. Tom said anxiously, "This train can't move, and we have to get out before the subway floods. There's no one manning the pumps."
Walking? What'd you say? We couldn't walk. I got maps.
Tom proposes they proceed on foot, and Clay, Tom, and Mike, a young man, decide to brave the tunnels together. The others, however, are too fearful to join them, choosing instead to stay behind.
What's happening everywhere? Just here. We'll know in a little while. We lose power. My family's up there. Got a wife and son. You know, New Hampshire, Camp on? I'm Tom McCourt, by the way.
As they're about to reach the exit, Clay sees a group of people standing still. Mike tries to check if they're still sane, but suddenly Mike is hit with an axe. Clay and Tom rush to climb the stairs to escape the pursuing zombies. As they emerge from the waterway into the city, they're met with a scene of utter devastation. Buildings lie in ruins, and chaos reigns supreme, a grim testament to the mysterious force that's ravaged the city. Clay finally suggests heading to his apartment to take shelter. Predictably, the people in the apartment have already turned into zombies. Clay and Tom finally enter and can breathe a sigh of relief because the place is safe, a place they can hide. Clay checks his phone again, but he's still afraid because the cause of people turning into zombies is due to using their phones. They spend the night there. At night, Clay and Tom discuss many things, especially about what actually happened. Is it really possible that just because of a phone, people can turn into zombies like that? Clay asks, still disbelieving. But soon after, there was a knock on the door, startling them. However, upon closer inspection, it was a blood-covered woman named Alice, their neighbor. She seemed very shocked, and Clay invited her inside to clean up.
I think you guys should close the blinds. I don't think that's... Thank you.
Now the three of them start thinking about ways to survive. Clay says that he will still try to find his son, even though the chances of him being alive are slim. But because he loves Johnny so much, he's determined to go.
I'm gonna try and get some rest.
In the morning, we're shown a city in chaos, with citizens turned into zombies. But their behavior is weird, guys. Unlike typical zombies, they seem more like, well, you can see for yourself. They move in groups and seem to be controlled.
They're like birds.
Clay and his friends decide to leave and search for a safe place while trying to find Johnny. It's noticeable that the cell phone towers might be somehow involved in the zombie outbreak.
One black man with a crowbar. I'm not walking over there. Oh, now.
Clay, Tom, and Alice arrive at a house that might be occupied and possibly has weapons. They try to get in, hoping to acquire some firearms since they're currently armed with just a baseball bat and a crowbar. They enter the house and find it empty, but Alice suddenly screams. It turns out the occupants are already dead. Nevertheless, they gather as many weapons as they can from the house.
What is?
Alice then notices that there are other people in the backyard, and they see, as we guessed, that it's a zombie, and immediately attack. But the other zombies also come out, as if they're connected to each other. Clay, Tom, and Alice run as fast as they can while killing the zombies. They run until they reach the riverbank, where they're unsure where to go next. Eventually, they hide under an overturned boat. The pursuing zombies can't find them, of course. As the sun begins to set, the zombies behave strangely. They start emitting a distorted, speaker-like noise from their mouths. The zombies then move away in unison. Clay, Tom, and Alice finally continue their journey.
The pulse flows through them like they're this big, organic, network.
Tom starts to realize that these zombies seem to be controlled and always cluster together. Just like before, they seem to be connected, like they're sharing information through some sort of network, similar to a cell phone.
You hear that? Yep.
It's music.
At night, they arrive at an academy school inhabited by Charles and his student, Jordan. They're invited to stay inside the school for the night. Tom becomes increasingly convinced that the zombie horde has become a single entity, with their minds seemingly erased and controlled. It's possible that the cell phone towers are the source of this control, leading to the conclusion that there's definitely someone or something controlling them.
One's on the soccer field. But I don't want to do it.
Tom, Clay, and Charles plan to burn all the zombies in the field until they're gone using a gasoline truck. Tom and Clay gear up for the mission, tasked with driving through the sleeping zombie horde while spraying them with gasoline. The tension is palpable as they prepare to ignite the zombies. Charles unleashes a flaming arrow, engulfing the zombies in a blaze of fire. However, in a shocking twist, the flames spread to the truck, causing a massive explosion. Unfortunately for Charles, he gets impaled by a piece of metal and meets his demise. After that, Jordan is forced to join Clay and the others. Now, the four of them continue their journey, seeking shelter and heading to Clay's house to meet his family. They arrive at a store where they decide to rest for a while. They continue their journey, day after day. Upon arrival, they find a house inhabited by healthy survivors. They're invited to stay for the night. The house is occupied by 3 people with relatively decent facilities. Clay and his friends try to get along with the residents. They chat, share stories, and vent, while discussing the 3 people's plan to head to a lake area believed to be safe, where everyone is said to have gone. It can be inferred that the place is a safe haven, possibly without phone signal and towers.
Because I had him, and I had her.
Meanwhile, while with Elise, Clay expresses his deep desire to meet his child and mend his relationship with Sharon, his ex-wife. It's also known that Clay had a failed career as a comic book writer.
All right, mister, and I wanted to come home. I said, I want to see my son.
At night, the situation takes a turn when one of the house's occupants gets possessed and turns into a zombie. A fierce battle ensues. The situation spirals out of control, with several people turning into zombies. Tragically, Elias is struck from behind while trying to save Tom. Mortally wounded, Elias's final moments are spent with Clay, Tom, and Jordan by his side. Elias eventually passes away and is given a proper burial. Clay, Tom, and Jordan must continue their journey to the safest place, and Clay remains optimistic that his son is still safe. Upon arriving at a forest, they see two people sitting in a car, and it turns out they're not zombies. They're actually zombie hunters, and their names are Ryden and Dennis. Ryden vows to take down the red-hooded man, whom he calls the President of the Internet. Let's call him the President of the Internet for simplicity. Ryden hasn't slept in 6 days and is starting to hallucinate. Meanwhile, Dennis takes Clay and Tom to see his brother, who has turned into a zombie. But to his surprise, the zombie starts making sounds like Clay's son, Johnny. Clay states that these zombies can be seen as representations of telephones. Tom is forced to shoot the zombie to keep Clay from being distracted and to avoid attracting other zombies. Clay, Tom, and Jordan join Ryden, who plans to leave again. On the way, Ryden seems to be going crazy, bro, rambling to himself. He suddenly stops and goes out into the forest, and then invites Clay to come with him. Clay is, of course, confused. What is Ryden doing? Ryden instead hallucinates and says that he is now awake from his dream. He also says that the President of the Internet has influenced his mind and is looking for someone who is none other than Clay. Ryden hands Clay a phone with a number and instructs him to call it at the end of their journey. As they near the end, Ryden tells Clay to leave quickly because he's going to detonate the explosives strapped to his neck, intending to take his own life.
Step away, Clay!
Clay returns to the car and continues his journey to his child's house. Upon arrival, he finds the place in a similarly dire state. Clay decides to enter alone, instructing his companions to stay inside the vehicle. He didn't find Johnny and Sharon, but he found a message from Johnny on the fridge that read, "Dad, I hope you're still alive. Mom has become one of them. I'm heading to Cashwalk. Please come." We can conclude that Johnny has sought refuge at Cashwalk. Clay heads upstairs and starts checking some items. Soon, his attention is drawn to a door. As he opens it, the Internet President suddenly appears, attacking him with punches and trying to kill him. Tom arrives just in time to lend a hand and help Clay. After a fierce battle, Clay, initially cornered, managed to kill the man. And then the truth hit them. It wasn't the Internet President, but Clay's wife, Sharon. Both Clay and Tom were shocked to find that the person they killed was Sharon. They were completely stunned and confused, wondering what had happened. After that, Clay decides to head to Cashwalk to find Johnny, following Ryden's instructions. Before leaving, he'll call the number Ryden gave him before taking his own life. Previously, Tom had actually forbidden Clay from going there because, as Dennis had mentioned, Cashwalk wasn't a safe place and wasn't the zombie-free zone and signal-free zone they thought it was. But Clay was determined to go. Reluctantly, Tom let Clay go, telling him that after finding Johnny, Clay would have to meet up with Tom and the others. Clay hands Jordan a paint can and tells him to spray it at intervals of a few kilometers as a directional marker for their path, so Clay can follow later.
Good knowing you, Clay Riddell. Good to know you, Tom. Take care, Tom.
Bye, your wife, Clay.
Clay finally heads to Cashwalk in the ice cream truck, which is loaded with bombs. Upon arrival, he's utterly shocked to find the area swarming with zombies surrounding a massive tower. It's clear that this location is the epicenter of all the chaos. Clay bravely charged through the thousands of zombies, who didn't even fight back and simply circled the tower. He spotted the Internet President, his long-sought target, and with courage, Clay charged straight into the zombies. Unsatisfied, he shot them with a volley of shotgun blasts. The Internet President died instantly. Suddenly, Clay hears Johnny's voice calling, "Guys!" and immediately begins searching for his son among the thousands of zombies, but he is unable to find him. In the end, Clay gives up and decides to call the number Ryden gave him, which turns out to activate the bomb's detonator. But just as suddenly, Johnny appears right in front of him. However, something's off. Johnny starts making the same sounds as the other zombies, like a glitchy signal or something. Clay immediately hugs Johnny and detonates the truck. The scene cuts to Clay and Johnny standing on a railroad track. They've both survived and are trying to catch up with Tom and the others by following the markers left by Jordan. Oh, but don't get too excited. That's not the ending. It turns out that was just Clay's hallucination. In reality, Clay becomes a zombie and joins the horde circling the tower. And the movie ends. And that's the plot of the movie Cell. Beneath its suspense and horror, this movie has a very relevant message. Be aware of our dependence on technology. The signals that connect us to the world can also be what disconnects us from humanity. This movie teaches us to return to reality and not to lose ourselves by becoming too immersed in the digital world. If you enjoy discussing movie with deep meaning like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so we can continue discussing other exciting movie. See you soon.